we come from a culture where Friday, Saturday, Sunday, 3 films you have to watch in theatre. So, and it's a testimony that passion's being reflected today in what we're doing for Major. We never thought of this as a South Indian film or a North Indian film because Major Sandeep Unnikrishnan is an all-Indian man.
Emotions are universal. So where does the boundary really begin and where does it end? It's porous, you know.
No,
so
definitely.
I think cinema is a great opportunity for us to sort of acknowledge human spirit.
That sense of respect cannot be limited by Juhu and Bhangra. That sense of respect cannot be limited by who you know. It has to come from a respect for the art. Somebody from a Marathi background and a Telugu background, you know, is getting to make a film about a Malayalam speaking man who changed India's history.
All right, and so abhi is interview se pehle I was just hearing about the South India, North India and Bollywood, and so you know, I genuinely feel that you guys, maybe the teams may have given you certain answers कि अभी ये सवाल तो पूछा जाएगा ही आपसे, तो आपको ये जवाब देना है, ज़्यादा मेहनत नहीं करना.
Actually, no, we haven't been. No.
I mean, the
because
South
this is, I think, the flavor of the
Yes.
season these days.
It is, na? Like this discussion has been happening even online, like.
Yeah,
Twitter
it's something
or
which is like very frequent.
See, what Bhangra is to Punjabis, film is for Telugus.
Of course.
And I'm not saying that as a tagline. We have the highest theatre occupancy in the country.
Yeah, I totally understand.
And there is more number of theatres in the Telugu states than any other place in India. So I'm saying this based on fact. So we come from a culture where Friday, Saturday, Sunday, 3 films you have to watch in theatre. So and it's a testimony that passion's being reflected today in what we're doing for Major. We never thought of this as a South Indian film or a North Indian film because Major Sandeep Unnikrishnan is an all-Indian man. You know, the man born in Kerala, grew up in Bangalore, training officer in Haryana. वो कारगिल में थे. In fact, he was also in Mission Vijay. That Captain Batra was also in.
Wow.
वो हरियाणा में training officer थे. He was in the National Security Guard. He was in the 7 Bihar Regiment. And then he did his heroics in Mumbai.
Right.
So, I didn't understand what about this is South Indian or North Indian. How can Major Sandeep's life be brought under that umbrella ki South movie or North movie? So, we ended up deciding to shoot it word for word, scene for scene, dialogue for dialogue, properly as a Hindi film and properly as a Telugu film.
So, you know, we're talking about South India and Bollywood. We're also having a Hollywood star amongst us.
We are. Well, I guess it's out. The news out. She's doing a film with Dev Patel.
Like, no, I'm just so happy, man. You know, like as an extension to the same, like the South and North movies discussion. You know, my mother tongue is Telugu, but my beginnings in like films it's happened through Hindi cinema, and it felt absolutely normal to me. Like when we say cheer for our cricket team, we cheer as Indians. So it feels very natural to me for different states and cultures to mingle. So in cinema, when which is the most popular medium, when somebody sitting in a Kanpur or a say Noida is watching a super deluxe from say Tamil Nadu,
Right.
for them to get a little sense of that culture, and because South में तो Hindi films देखते ही हैं. So I feel like when the other way is also happening, I feel like that sort of mixing and mingling is so healthy because I feel like it's such a diverse nation. So I think it's beautiful. I'm for it. I'm greatly excited.
So all our actresses have always been a success here. You know, Sridevi ji, Rekha ji, Hema Malini, Jayprada, Aishwarya Rai, Deepika Padukone, so many people. And you know, so we're just.
And as I've done like my first Hollywood project, and when I acted in it in English, I realized that actually this is not really like a culturally Indian language as we know it, but And then I realized that like emotions are universal. So where does the boundary really begin and where does it end? It's porous, you know.
No,
so
definitely.
I think cinema is a great opportunity for us to sort of acknowledge human spirit.
Kya baat. And personally, I'm looking forward to Made in Heaven season 2. I think you were outstanding in that.
Thank you.
Okay, you know, so I was, the other interview was going on and I was just there in the backdrop and I was just hearing. So you were mentioning about the fact that cricket mein jo hai, koi ye to nahi hota South India hai ya phir. But cricket is technique. So, you know, she talked about the diversity factor. I think, you know, that mutual respect element is very important for respecting other languages. At times, वो थोड़ा सा missing होता है, which is, I think, maybe.
I agree.
Like how in movies, जैसे ना लो आ गया मद्रासी.
Like there's something. I mean,
mutual respect is important.
I mean,
I think it's a beautiful country with such amazing diversity.
I don't mind admitting something that happened actually.
Please go ahead. Don't hold yourself back.
It was shortly after my film Kshanam had released. It was a blockbuster in Telugu, remade in Hindi as Baghi 2.
Ji.
That's how I knew Sajid sir. I'd come to Mumbai on some meeting and I'd met with a casting director here. And you know, I'd said, you know, I've been doing Indian films, so you know, how does it work here? You know, and she said, नहीं, Bollywood अलग है. Bollywood में ये सब कुछ नहीं चलता. And I said, मतलब? And then she points to a stack of DVDs behind. I said, see, that's a South Indian actor, that's a Bengali actor. ये सब ऐसे ही हैं. अभी तक देखा नहीं मैंने. And I realized that sense of respect needs to extend both ways.
Yeah.
To extend to people who come from Kanpur, people who come from Vizag, people who come from Coimbatore, people who come from Delhi, people who come from Jammu. That sense of respect cannot be limited by Juhu and Bhangra. That sense of respect cannot be limited by who you know. It has to come from a respect for the art. And I remember after that experience, she suddenly snapped her fingers and 7 guys in suits just ठाक करके they rolled in like an assembly line. मैं हैरान हो गया. मैंने कहा क्या हो रहा है? She's like dialogue bolo, and they all were saying the same exact dialogue. Dialogue bolo, and 7 guys said the same dialogue. ठाक. She's like आप छे हट जाओ, आप दूसरा screen test दो, जाओ. And I was like, what is going on?
Like a factory.
Yeah, it was a factory. It was an assembly line. ये सच में हुआ है. In a leading office. ऐसा नहीं था कि ये
in Bombay.
In Bombay.
Yeah, you know, that is something which is, I think, one needs to acknowledge the fact that the level of respect that is there for art down south, I think it's truly commendable. It's आपको अगर मतलब South Indian, आपको अगर classical language, classical आपको music आती है, you're actually respected in say Tamil Nadu. That's a lot of respect that people tend to get, which is something that it's truly commendable.
You know, I think there's amazing talent everywhere in India, and we're so thankful that somebody from a Marathi background and a Telugu background, you know, is getting to make a film about a Malayalam speaking man who changed India's history.
So there's such natural mingling that happens that I feel like maybe we don't get a chance to see that represented in cinema. Maybe now that's happening. Correct. So somebody in a very obvious Hindi belt is consuming cinema from Kerala or Karnataka.
हाँ यार हमारे फिल्म से कब से मतलब top 10 तो मैं तो है ही मतलब.
You know, so Rajamouli told me one thing very interesting thing, that all these हम आपके हैं कौन and मैंने प्यार किया, they are huge hits in Telugu.
Premalayam.
They are like
Prem
huge
Pavralu,
hits.
Premalayam.
Yeah. So it's like both ways.
I saw them in Telugu.
So it is like both ways.